there's a part of me that wants to tell her to go. Be gone, you Jezebel. Get the hell out of here and take your wicked voodoo with you. But the other part of me is my balls, and right now, they're in her mouth. The hollow shells of decaying maple trees stand like rotting skeletons, scattered along the courtyard of Lindenwood University. As their damp leaves drop to the ground, it's the thud that has me constantly looking over my shoulder. Blanketing the commons with their earthly yellows and melancholy browns, they give the ivy-colored field an indie film vibe that has me on the edge of my seat. Swinging on the double bench outside of Jensen Hall, I'm hiding behind a pair of dark mirrored sunglasses and scribbling down the words to a song I'll probably never play live. Shaking my tic-tac case for a loose Ambien, I'm enjoying watching the extras on the set have a meltdown, struggling to relate to the hero. While the acting is frighteningly believable, the miscasting is pulling me out of the story with its cliches. You could forgive the bearded professors with the elbow-patched tweed jackets, but the shirtless frat boys tossing around a frisbee trying to catch the eye of the trust fund socialists, sitting Indian style in their Gucci Greek sweatshirts, lamenting the evils of capitalism, is a little on the nose. The director yells cut, a school bell rings in the distance, and a singed reddish-brown leaf lands on the edge of the swing just as my old roommate Chad walks by, vying for eye contact. After our freshman year, when it couldn't be helped, we'd exchange the briefest of passing nods around campus and then quickly move on. So I was already anxious when he approached the swing and asked, "Hey, Brosif, you still playing that band? Everyone's talking about that video. That was you?" Unsure of where this is going, I say something completely random like, "Hey man, the beat goes on," hoping he'll take the hint and keep walking. Chad and I were not among the elite students allowed to reside in the dorms our first year. Us plebs were kept in an old trailer park after the school ran off the indigenous white trash. Haunted by the ghosts of generations of poor choices, the unmistakable smell of methamphetamines was so deeply entrenched into every cinder block, a good night's sleep was difficult to come by. One night, a campus security guard came rapping on the metal screen door that had Chad and I stashing gravity bongs and tequila bottles in the moldy bathtub. When the brown shirts finally barged in, they found one of Chad's unconscious sorority pledges stuffed into a hall closet with an unfortunately positioned bowling pin that landed the two of us on double secret probation. Chad hasn't changed much in the last few years, aside from his rapidly receding hairline and the way he dresses more like an adult film star from New Jersey than a cocky young football player. Standing before me, he's trying to tell me something, trying to paint me a picture, a portrait of despair, desperate times. The way he keeps fidgeting with the black leather belt wrapped loosely around a pair of crisp pleated trousers, both from Kenneth Cole, is distracting me from the heart of his message. Keywords like ecstasy and cocaine, however, are enough to break the spell. Though the 3-day-old stubble on his chest is visible through his unbuttoned raspberry satin shirt from J. Crew, I managed to catch the tail end of his plea. "Brosif, do you still have your dope hookups? Like, no one here or back home can get shit, man." As he's telling me this, I remember that he used to have a cousin with mid-level dope connections back in his hometown. I recall being surprised by some redneck from Effingham, Illinois, knowing their way around the metric system better than an Asian MIT grad student, and he was surprised that I knew Joey. Both of us had heard the tales of the mysterious Irishman with deep IRA connections and some tiny cottage out in the sticks that Joey couldn't wait not to tell us all about. Just as I'm hitting send on my phone, Chad says something that I ask him to repeat. When he says for a second time, "Oh yeah, Brosif, I got clothes too," I drop my phone on the bed of crushing yellow leaves blanketing the ground beneath my feet. He sees that I'm fishing for more details, and he gives them to me. He tells me that he has piles of clothes and starts naming every store in the Galleria. Brand name clothes, hand-picked and still smelling like Sbarro's pizza, lay piled up in our old trailer by the park. I can think of 3 good reasons to simply pass on this whole thing. I'm not just being paranoid by thinking that this could all be an elaborate trap. Chad could easily be working undercover for April at the Riverfront Times, or attempting to snitch his way out of some date rape charge. On the other hand, this could be a lucrative market for Hank to tap into. I don't even know what he's going on about with this whole clothes business, but that sounds badass too. With my finger hovering over the call button, I cover the phone and mention to Chad, "Hey, we're playing a gig tonight at Cooper's. You should come and bring..." I'm waving my finger around in a general sort of way. You know, people. The hinge on the metal screen door creaks painfully open just before recoiling with that high-pitched, slamming sound of a jail cell. The inside of the damp living room feels like a gothic catacomb that Poe would ponder upon a dreary midnight. The head of a mannequin with soulless eyes hangs from the low ceiling by a silk Burberry tie. With the body nowhere in sight, only a lipstick-smeared girl who looks like she had a pretty face once. The faraway look in her eyes screamed to anyone brave enough to listen, "Kill me, kill me." Hank and Chad make solid eye contact while exchanging a firm handshake, and after establishing dominance, Hank breaks their gaze to look around and ask, "Damn, Chaz, how much you pay for this place?" Chad smiles broadly when he tells him, "Nothing, brah, it's free." It's only after he asks Chad if he thinks it's worth it does Hank begin to crack the beginnings of a smile. Chad pushes a hollow wooden door open anyway, exposing a dimly lit room with mountains of professionally folded designer clothing stacked from floor to ceiling. There are enough highfalutin velour tracksuits neatly stacked upon the cum-stained mattress where I once cry-wanked myself to sleep to keep Fouki in business every day of the week. Hank is impressed and he says so. I don't think either of us care about the fancy clothes, but the mere fact that Chad managed to pull off such a felonious caper is a mystery I need to get to the bottom of. With my head tilted to the side, I whisper one word, "How?" Without hesitation, he shrugs his massive shoulders and tells me, "Broseph, I steal them." Sensing correctly how unsatisfying that answer is, he goes on to explain that the beauty of his plan is in its simplicity. He doesn't do anything dangerous, he says, like robbing Banana Republic trucks at gunpoint or anything. No, instead he simply walks around area malls with a small Victoria's Secret bag as confident as a pocket full of roofies. He leaves the house in a nice button-down shirt and convinces himself that he's just shopping like everyone else. He just doesn't pay. With one arm full of clothes and one foot out the front door, I turn to ask Chad, "Hey man, by the way, do you still hang out with all the boys from the football team?